Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Alyssa. I'm an artist from Perth, Western Australia. I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining. We're in autumn at the moment. It's actually lovely. This video today I'm going to show or share just parts of a course mostly parts of a course that I'm taking part in, and it's based around Carl Jung's Red book. So he's the father of, I guess, dream work in general. He did a lot of work in psychology around dreams, and so it's going to be really interesting. A lot of it is very deep in a work, and I just really feel to share it because we really are all connected, and sometimes it's very encouraging when you can follow along on somebody else's journey, and also for my own self, just because it's a good way of recording what I'm learning and what I'm finding. So I hope you enjoy the video. The other thing is I'm just going to briefly show you just a painting that I'm working on at the moment that I've been wrestling with a little bit, and just the progress of that. So just a few bits and bobs, and I hope you enjoy and keep creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, I'm organising my studio. We've got a new table, which is, well, a new table off courtesy of my mum. It's got really heavy glass. I guess the idea was to move this table, which has always been a bit wobbly, and put it in this corner and get rid of these two tables. So yeah, we'll see how we go. So hopefully we'll get it a little bit transformed. Lots to do, lots to organise. It's a lot of fiddly stuff to organise, I think, with art, because you don't want to throw things away, but you do want to organise them. So I've got some nice containers that I can use, but it's just literally remembering where things are, because in these drawers, that's the thing, I've got so much stuff and I don't even know what I've got. So I need a dedicated space for all of my pictures and things. It's actually quite overwhelming. Just recently got some little goldfish in our pond, so the pond has been all cleaned out. We've done so much work lately. Hi Bob. And yeah, we've got our deck is kind of raised. Excuse the tarp, that's just because it's going to be raining, so we're going to put it over the table once it rains. And this is the table that I'm shifting into the art studio. So we shifted that table there, well, it was in the middle of the space. Then we shifted this, my cabinet from upstairs, we shifted it downstairs, and I've just put daggy labels on there just so that I won't forget where I put different things. And I love having my paints within reach, just in buckets. I feel like that's the best way I've ever had them. They're so inviting to me, because you just rummage through there and find the colour. And my Jo Sonias, and they're just the acrylic paints but in tubs. Kev put up panels so that when the wind comes in, because it's not a space, it's an open space, so all this area is open, but it just means that it won't get those gusts of wind. I'll just show you around here. Yeah, I'm still organising things, like I've got buckets and boxes under there, but you know, what can I say? It's a working art studio. It's got to be a bit rough around the edges. So I'm doing an online course around dream work called Dream School with this Jungian life. It's actually on YouTube and Spotify. They've got a podcast, and heaps and heaps of people in this dream school all over the world, from all over the world, and they're doing an arts practice course around Jung's Red book. If you're not familiar with Jung, he's sort of like the father of psychology. He was very similar to Freud, but they sort of had a breaking off and went different directions in their ideas and in their framework and what they believed about the unconscious and about dreams and things like that. So I think of Jung as being like a real mystic. I feel like he was on a constant search to find himself and just connect to his inner life. And the Red Book is like an amalgamation of all of that. Like all of his dreams and ideas are all recorded there, and he recorded them so beautifully. Like I think they're really like the old-fashioned illuminated manuscripts, and they remind me a lot of Blake's work, where there's, you know, poetry and images and experiences that he's had and just musings that he's had. And it was a really important book, and it was, so the aim of this course is to get us all to, whether you're an artist or not, to look at the unconscious, and a lot of the art activities are revolving around looking at the inner world. So taking our judgment off the table and really letting images emerge. So it's not focusing on, you know, having an idea and then trying to nut it out and trying to think of ways to express the idea. It's more about the immediacy of an art activity and letting what is there come through. So a very different way of working for a lot of artists. And yeah, so I've done a few little art activities around it, and I sort of just really want to track the progress of this course. I'm just really excited to see what will come out of it in my own practice, because I tend to do a lot of intuitive artworks anyway, so I feel like it will really sit comfortably with all that I'm doing, you know, further my skills even more in that direction. But so the idea is we're releasing control of the image that comes, and to not judge it. So we're not judging the image as being good or bad. Jung was compiling his Red Book around the time that the war broke out, First World War, and he also had that break with Freud, which was really quite stressful and emotionally turbulent for him. He sort of led to this feeling of that he'd lost his soul. So he was on like a quest to find his soul, to find his feet, I guess, in where he was. I think he almost felt like he was going a bit insane, and so it's a good example of how artwork really grounds us. And he considered his artwork to be super, super important. He didn't consider himself to be an artist, even though I think his artwork is really beautiful, but he considered it to be very, very important for his practice and for his ideas. And he has mystical experiences with all of these, you know, spirit guides, and he's even had sort of prophetic images where he could see the war unfolding, just different things like that. So it's amazing. I'm going to show you just some of my pieces that I'm working on and just my thoughts about it. I have a artwork that I was doing, which I'll explain to you, with a lot of masking tape. So all of these projects are just really, really intuitive, and looking at the process and just seeing what images come out. And as, of course, you know, recording your dreams and working with your dreams is really important in this course. With Jung's Red Book, I think that's where he developed the idea of active imagination, which is when you work with a dream image and you dialogue with it, as if the dream is a story, you take that story further. So you allow the dream images to interact with you in whichever way you see fit. So that can be through working with art, working with dialogue. There's a lot of even movement. There's a lot of different ways that you can use active imagination to bring your dream images to life. So such an exciting thing. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to take you and I'm going to just share with you what I'm doing, and hopefully you'll find it inspiring. If you ever are somebody who writes down your dreams or are interested in the work of Jung, you might find what I'm doing inspiring, and it might just pique your interest to look into your dreams and different depth psychology aspects yourself. So this activity was just to lay down masking tape really randomly and then paint over it. And the idea is that when you peel back the layers, you get a pattern underneath, and then you can work in that over that again. You can use paint, but obviously I've got different materials on top as well. Like I used oil pastels, and you could also use ink or just anything that you've got on hand. And I think that what I like about this activity is the layering. You'll see the final page to this is absolutely completely unrecognizably different, but I think it really just points to me that it's about the process. And I did some asymmetric writing, which is just mark making that kind of looks like words over the top. I did that in black, and it's just an experience of layering and seeing what emerges. So this is what came yesterday. I put some watercolour on it and just left it to dry. I put this candle on it to hold it down because we got quite a bit of rain yesterday, and kind of pleased with the amount of pink that's poking through. You probably can't recognise it, but this is actually the masking tape page I did. And one of the things in the course, they sort of said like to go towards things that you wouldn't normally. It can be really good, and because I'm often so experimental, it sort of just felt like to just sit down and use a fine brush and, you know, think about what would emerge. So I used oil pastels and my Jo Sonjas, again, my Jo Sonja paints, and a bit of texture in there as well. I had a strong dream last night where my dog Stewie showed up, so I really feel to just do an exploration on the emotions from the dream, because even though the images were quite strong, the emotions were very strong as well. So I'm just going to explore that, and I just felt to divide the page up into 4. just want to show you a few bits and bobs that I've been working on. So this is the little image that I did based on my dream around Stewie. And I think one thing that really interests me in this picture is there really was like a boat and a sun that wanted to come through. So it was in the image underneath, and then I covered it with white and I scratched back into it. These were literally just scribbles that were done with white oil pastel, and then just working over the top in ink, any sort of ink or watercolor or anything like that. Really good because it gets you to focus on just the colors that you're using, and the whole experience of using inks and watercolor is really wonderful because you don't really know how it's going to dry, and it creates sort of eddies and drips, and it's just a lovely experience of just it feels very free when you use these sort of mediums. And of course there's always the opportunity, if you want to work over the top of these as well. And that's that one. And these are ones I did this morning as part of a group studio practice, and I found this really interesting because the figure 8 came up, and then it sort of went off into just random loopy asemic writing, I guess. And I really feel like this encapsulates sort of like a connection. It feels like a mother and a son, so I really felt like my own son was really close to me as I was doing this. And so this was quite loaded symbolically, I think, for me, and it was very surprising. And this was the first one that I worked on, which was just sort of like a warm-up, and some of the symbols and images like the little mushroom shape and window out this way was quite interesting. So it was kind of first thing in the morning, and before my brain had a chance to switch on. So I'm just going to show you the progress of the painting that I'm working on. So I'm wanting to just get some expressive brush strokes happening, and the whole thing will be a lot brighter, I think. I'm not really happy at all with the colours, but I'm happy with the composition, and that's half the battle. I've added a lot of detail, so this one feels like a dance between sort of things that are really loose and not detailed, and adding quite a bit of detail. Really feeling like I'm leaning into that fairy tale idea. It's a lot of details and a lot of sort of finding hidden pockets, and the idea of things being hidden in the forest, I think, is what I'm really wanting to express, and also the magnitude of these really tall trees, which are beautiful. There's places you can go nearby where you've got these massive, big, tall blue gum trees, and we're dwarfed by them, and you can't see the sky, kind of a thing. So I wanted to get that feeling across as well. I'll show you what I've been using to help me in my process. So I have been using references. They don't need to be particularly good because I'm just wanting to get the anatomy of what it is to be playing a flute in the air, I guess. And this picture of this owl, it's from a calendar that I've had for a long while, and I just love it. It's actually turned up. I've painted it quite a lot. So I felt he adds sort of like an element of movement in the picture, which I like. And so the other thing, because I found it hard to get started and know where I was going with the painting, I decided to just do some mark making, which I don't usually do. So I got my paints out and just experimented with just different shapes and marks that I could make and colours that I could do. And that actually helped me a lot. Okay, I spent ages on this today. One of the things I did was I turned it upside down and worked on it upside down. And that was really helpful. I've been looking at it far too long. I need to step away and let it kind of just be for a while. It's funny how that happens. Sometimes I find that if I take a photo of it, I'll get a better idea of what I'm looking at. Well, just at the moment, I think what stands out to me is how the owl and the flute players sort of are forming like an arc around the girl. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it for a while and see what I think. Okay, I said I'd leave it, but then I was looking at it, as you do, the photo of it, and I realised that the house was smack bang in the middle of the canvas, and that's why it looked kind of a bit odd. So I feel like that's actually much better. Like whether I put another more slender tree in this spot here, but yeah, it was like there were too many elements that were similar size. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day or evening, whatever you're doing. And as always, just keep creating. It's so good for the soul. It's good on so many different levels, and I'll see you next time. Bye.